Welcome to Find Your Clear Vision, a personal branding and mindset podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Guillot. I help high-performing leaders like you reignite the connection to your highest self and design your life and brand from the inside out. I'm a blend of bright colors and deep conversations, tarot cards and strategy decks, bluegrass, and Tribe Called Quest. If you're looking to bring your fullest expression to your life, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, friend. Welcome. I am so honored that you're spending this time with me today. We're going to kick things off a little bit differently. I want you to come along with me for this quick inner visioning moment. Imagine that you are looking at a blank wall. Imagine that you can just let it be there. Maybe just for a moment you can kind of see through it, or peek around the wall to the other side, or peek over the top of it. But it's blank, it's open, it's fresh, it's a clean, clear white wall. Maybe you let it fall down just for a moment, or maybe it becomes a little bit see-through. Even if it's a little fuzzy, it's okay. Let's just let this blank canvas be there with us right now. Close your eyes if you're able to. Imagine that on the other side of this blank canvas is your future. Maybe it's 6 months from now or a year from now. Imagine that you're standing on the other side of this wall. Who are you being on the other side of that wall? Where are you? Is somebody with you? What do you feel like? What are you wearing? Are you happy? Is there anything missing for you? Ask yourself, what support do I need right now, today, to become that person? Now I want you to come back to this now moment, today, right here with me right now. And I'm going to share with you why that quick inner visioning moment was important. So I work with people who are going through a transition in their life, or their leadership, or their business. And at the end of the day, the support that's going to get them to the other side is almost nearly identical. People need clarity. They need clarity in themselves and who they are, and also in their personal brand, how they show up and express who they are out there in the world. And they need community, a community of their real peers, so they can learn from them and be inspired, and also learn from experts, those people that can motivate them to be their best and to continually move forward. So I've broken down this sort of process into 4 steps, which is actually the exact framework that I use to create my Be Bright Mastermind. And I want to share that framework with you today. But first, let me share with you this quote from a woman who was in the mastermind with me during the winter and spring session. She said, "Being part of this group lets you know that you are not the only one that has struggles, and you're not the only one who's on a path for this journey. I've expanded my thoughts not just to be about tangible short-term goals, but rather looking further ahead in my life. I used to be afraid to think beyond 1 year and make plans beyond 1 year, but now I am completely comfortable with the long term." Oh, my goodness, right? That confidence, that beauty. Oh, it just warms my heart. That's that ability to see beyond yourself today. I am going to share with you more about the mastermind, which starts on July 30th, 2021. But first, let's deep dive into these 4 steps that are going to jumpstart your journey to your ideal self through clarity and community. So those steps are: define your holistic life strategy, define your personal brand, how you actually show up in the world, learn from experts, and find your community. So let's deep dive into step number 1. Define your holistic life strategy. So this is where we actually prioritize our mind, body, and soul. And we create habits to prioritize these, intentional habits. Self-care is literally the number 1 differentiator of high-level leaders. So we need to activate our power, our leadership, through habits and rituals and support systems. I shared in episode 7 how to create white space, which is a beautiful example of a habit that supports my mind, body, and soul. Or in episode 6, I shared how to figure out how you want to feel and how to create that feeling on purpose. Again, prioritizing your mind, body, and soul. Andrea, who was also attendee of the Be Bright Mastermind, she told me that her biggest takeaway was this holistic life strategy. And she said this is where you can be intentional and focus on your mind, body, and soul, and how they play together. It's so necessary to meeting your purpose. And she said, now I have all the tools. So a holistic life strategy is going to look at all areas of your life, not just your work persona. It's really who you're being everywhere. And it's the foundational day-to-day moments that are going to get you there, right? There is a tomorrow and a tomorrow and a tomorrow and a tomorrow between who you are today and that future vision that we just saw on the other side of that blank wall. So at the beginning of this episode, that was a habit, a ritual, a moment that you could start to incorporate into your life. We literally meditated for 30 seconds, maybe a minute. That's it. And it enabled you to see and create a future vision for yourself, to actually feel differently because you use your imagination to do so. So it's these small daily practices and rituals that grow and multiply over time. So defining your holistic life strategy is the start. It's the kickoff. All right. Number 2, step 2, we define your personal brand. So you can replace, if personal brand and that word is a little triggering for you, cool, no problem. You can replace it with thought leadership, character, reputation, voice, whatever works best for you. So my process of finding this thing for you is different because I have a background in graphic design and branding. So I really blend both design thinking and leadership into how I work with my clients around developing their personal brand. And so I actually use a creative process. And that first step in any creative process is to brainstorm. And we deep dive into brainstorming what makes you, you. And yes, you are unique. And yes, we can find those little nuggets using many different tools and techniques to carve out that space for you. And then we create an ideal future vision of how you want to feel and who you want to be having conversations with and what about. And I want to pause there for a minute. Remember back to when you were looking around the other side of that blank canvas at yourself 6 months to a year from now. What kind of conversations do you want to be having? And with who? Are there people in your life right now that you don't see over there on the other side? Are there some people that motivate and inspire you that you want to be in conversations with? Then yes, That is the ideal future vision. And that's where we're aiming for. Then, in the creative process of defining your personal brand, we're going to laser focus into a roadmap, literally mapping it out step by step, milestone by milestone. And for you folks out there who love logistics, this is what's going to light you up. We actually have a plan in place leading towards that future vision and that personal brand. And then the last step of this creative process that I use to define a personal brand is to share it. You have to share your gifts with the world. That is your service. That is your gift to us. And so that is how we actually express ourselves out there in the world. So in the mastermind, we've got quite a lot of steps that take us through this personal branding process. For example, we create what I call a marketing one-liner. So when somebody asks you the question, so what do you do? When I say, oh, I'm a creative mindset coach, people are like, huh? I need to go a little bit deeper, but do it with clarity that ropes them in. This is your one-liner. This is your elevator pitch, but it's done in a way that is so clear and beautiful. I love taking people through this process and through that tool. Something else that I share in the mastermind is a really simple, elegant way to create a branding style guide. I think there's like 6 steps in it, and that's it. And this is coming from somebody who made a living making style guides for really big businesses. And I've simplified that process for you. And we also bring in experts that are going to help get you motivated and inspired to get started. So Caitlin was a member of my mastermind. She lives in Buffalo, New York. She's a PhD. She also is the co-owner of a whole animal butchery with her husband. And she said that the Be Bright Mastermind was an opportunity to learn about herself in different ways. And it provided an awesome and wide net of approaches. It was amazing to see what other people are doing and be inspired by them. So step number 3, to find clarity in yourself and your personal brand, is to learn from experts. So I can't tell you, I find so much inspiration and learning. And I must be one of those lifelong learners because this type of work just lights me up. And this is what I notice. I notice that when I attend a workshop or read a book, listen to a podcast, whatever it may be, I literally grow and multiply my business. I have a deeper, stronger effect on my clients when I am filled with inspiration and motivation, when I sign up to learn from experts. So I'm curious. I'd love for you to share with me, how do you learn? How do you learn? And do you actually create time in your calendar to do so? I hope so. So in the mastermind, oh my goodness, this is one of my absolute favorite parts, is bringing in experts to help us grow, learn, multiply, be inspired, and motivated. And so I have brought in friends who are money mindset experts, friends who are personal brand storytellers, a friend who is a LinkedIn social selling expert. I brought in my spiritual energy and light coach. I also brought in a friend who specialized in sharing with us different moon rituals. So cool. And I also brought in a personal branding photographer to share with us not only like how to get the best photos of ourselves, but how to do like the perfect selfie with this perfect light. It was a lot of fun. Another Be Bright Mastermind attendee said, I like the experiences of the practices that are outside of my normal day to day. Exploring different spiritual practices is new for me. So that was a lot of fun. And I can totally agree because I often create moments in my business simply because I want to learn more about them. So step number 4 in this framework, share with others and get feedback. Find your high vibrational people. So being a magnetic leader, You have to be able to connect with others and yourself on a really deep level. And then part 2 of that is being held accountable to what you want to create. So I want to share with you the difference between having a friend who's your accountability partner and having a coach who's your accountability partner. And I've fallen victim to this. I really have. Right? I've had that friend who I'm like, okay, you and me, we're going to do Whole30 together. Okay. And she says, okay. And then like 2 weeks into it on day 14, I'm like, oh my goodness, a glass of white wine would be amazing right now. Just like just one glass. And then she says, all right, let's do it. Okay. See how quickly we fall? Oh my goodness. So that's your friend. If you have an accountability partner who is a coach or part of a community of these high vibrational people where we are intentionally holding ourselves radically responsible for that future vision that we want to create, that's how we stay in alignment. We need more people like that in our lives when it comes to really wanting to grow and gain clarity and get yourself to that future vision that's on the other side of that wall. Another attendee of the Be Bright Mastermind said, what intrigued me about the mastermind is the dynamic mix of women and getting exposure to people at different levels of their career, different industries, and different geographical locations. And at the same time, we were all like-minded. And at some level, we all have the same underpinnings of mindfulness. And that, oh my goodness, that, my friend, is the exact community I want to be a part of. If this is resonating with you, I want to share with you a little bit more about the Be Bright Mastermind because it is open now and you can apply to join us. We start the summer-fall session of the mastermind on July 30th. And it is a 5-month commitment. And I'm super protective of the spirit of the women that will be in the mastermind with you. In the last go-around, there were only 8 members. And in this go-around, I'm really wanting to keep it to be a small, intimate group. So if we get to be bigger than 8 or maybe 10, I will open it up to more than one group. You can pop over to bebrightlisa.com/mastermind to learn more or reach out to me on the Get in Touch page on my website at bebrightlisa.com. If you're somebody who needs all the logistics and how is this all going to break down, I'm going to share with you how we actually structure and organize the mastermind week by week. So as I mentioned, this is a 5-month commitment to your highest and best self. It's a 5-month commitment to who you have become on the other side of that blank wall. So in the first week of the month, we have like a workshop style setting where I share the monthly theme, which ranges from divine feminine leadership to personal branding with purpose. We do future visioning. We also have the tools to create that holistic whole life strategy that I mentioned and so much more. And these trainings and digital workbooks will be released on Fridays at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's the time we meet. So when we meet live, these sessions are for an hour and they'll be recorded. I know I've got a client in India and also a client in London. So it's A-okay if you can't meet with us live at some times because we will have this recorded for you. But we love to have you in person. That's the community that I want to create. So in the second week of the month, we do hot seat coaching. So this is your opportunity to hop into the hot seat for some one-on-one coaching with me that's going to inspire you and your peers because I truly believe that we are better together. Plus, it's a time to share as a community and to support each other's projects, future visions, and dreams. This is one of the aspects that most of my attendees just really appreciated and coveted. So in the third week of the month, this is when I bring in my expert guest speakers. As I shared, each month I'll handpick an expert from my community of creative leaders to share topics that are going to be relevant to you, like, money mindset was really fun. or brand building or LinkedIn expertise or personal storytelling, marketing strategy, Instagram strategy. We can really form this to be experts that 100% relate to what you want to move into and grow from. And then in the fourth week of the month, we don't actually meet live. Instead, this is your time to create and have for yourself. I call this your personal integration week. So this is where you can connect with other members of the mastermind and get super extra insight on your personal projects and get supported in this private group. So if this is resonating with you, cool, absolutely cool. I would love to hear from you. As I said, you can learn more at bebrightlisa.com/mastermind. Or if group programs aren't your thing, cool again. I've got clients that only want to do the one-on-one work with me because that's the type of attention, that's how they learn best, and that's what's going to move them forward towards their future vision. Super cool too, right? You do you, and what is in alignment for your future vision. If you take anything away from today's episode, it is that when we take a moment to pause and take a look at what's on the other side of that blank canvas, my friend, it is you. It is you and your future vision and how we can be so clear in what that looks like for you. And here today, I share with you just 4 steps that can move you closer towards being that person and creating that life, business, leadership, livelihood, and career that you want by design. All right. I'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Find Your Clear Vision. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe something we talked about sparked an idea, or maybe you are ready to start your journey. If so, you can find me on the contact page of my website, bebrightlisa.com, or on Instagram at bebrightlisa. If you're feeling extra luminous, please rate and review Find Your Clear Vision on Apple Podcasts. I read all of the reviews and so appreciate the 5 bright stars. Remember, you, my friend, are a dazzling light and your clear vision is so needed. Until next time, be bright, Lisa.